right, and we're live. We're really excited about this one. It's going to be ambitious. We're going to be moving around. We've got new mics, so hopefully it's not a disaster. But the products are really cool. And if you have a pontoon boat, specifically if you have a JC pontoon, but really if you have any pontoon boat, you really want to stay and watch because there's some really cool products. So Jared, what are we looking at here? What do we have on this table?
Yes, this is a pontoon lounge backrest, right? So generally this would be on the boat, either towards the bow or in front of the driver, where this is the back portion of it. You see the armrest that comes down here, and then you'd have like a bench that would be out that, you know, somebody could lean their back up along here and have their feet out to the front of them. You know, usually there's 2 of these on the boat, sometimes
2 or 4. Yeah,
right.
It could be some facing forward and some facing back. It depends a little bit on the pontoon configuration. But one thing we've done is generally, you know, besides functioning as a very comfortable place to hang out,
right,
you know, there's really no other use for it. It's just an empty cavity on the boat, and we all know how important space is.
Or the storage is up here and, you know, underneath the seat. So if somebody's sitting there, it's like, hey, can you get up real quick while I can get my towel, right? So there's nowhere to really store anything that's functional.
So let's spin this, and let's look at what we've got here on the back. So on the back, you see we have a storage unit, and this one is specifically a wine storage cabinet. So for all you winos, check it out. We've got 3 different wine bottles, 2 of which we have oversized. So these are slots that these wine bottles drop down in. The 2 that are oversized to be able to accommodate a wine chiller.
Or a handle, right? And in some cases, if you have a larger liquor bottle, that would go in there as well.
Or actually a 2-liter bottle. So they also fit a 2-liter bottle. So that's one thing we spent a lot of time. We know that this is to a degree dedicated to be a wine cabinet in so much that you've got the wine glasses here in the back, but we tried to make everything very flexible, and it could be used on any trip, even if you're not going out cruising having a glass of wine. But in the back here, as I mentioned, we have some real nice stemmed wine glass holders, and when I'll pull it up on the website so you can see a little bit better, but it holds it real secure.
Which that's something new from a development standpoint, right? We have a new integrated way as part of that keeps that nice and secure. Maybe we can show them as we get closer onto another part where we can zoom in on that. Absolutely. So I think that's really neat.
So down in the bottom we have 4 rocks glasses.
Or stemless wine glasses.
Or stemless, or really just any kind of glass. And then on the back side of the door, we've got a couple different tool holders. What do you have over there?
You've got a corkscrew over here, holds that perfectly. You've got a little integrated bottle opener. You know, that's a lot of people are drinking a lot of the craft beer nowadays that, you know, you always have to have a bottle opener. You can't twist the top off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a can guy myself.
And then on the back of the door here, there's a little knife holder. In this case, we've got a little cheese knife, and that works great for this slide-out cutting board that we have. So
that's really slick. I love that.
Yep. Well, the cool thing is it takes up almost no space, right? I mean, it sits like this on the very edge. In fact, you don't even really know it's there unless you really know to look for it. But it's a slide-out cutting board that can be used for any type of food prep, and just slides right back in here. Boom.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's look at the top. One of the things that we mentioned as part of this is Pontoon and Deck Boat Magazine. Kind of critical as a lot of these pontoons have come out and been more prevalent. You know, an article I read, the pontoon industry kind of helped save the boating industry during the recession. Awesome boats. You're seeing a lot of changes that are moving to a tri-tune design in some cases, like a JC. They're building a ton of boats. They're awesome. They're lit. Kind of a party on the water. There's nowhere that has lockable storage was one of the criticisms.
So we got you. So this is a lockable glove box up at the top that we've tried to make nicer than your average glove box, in so much that we have added a non-slip mat on the inside. So there's a rubberized mat so that your items don't move around while you're underway. As Jared mentioned, it's all lockable. So we've got locking latches to make sure that no one can steal anything. If you're maybe jumping off the boat to go in and eat a sandwich at pull up at the bar and do whatever. In the back we have a USB charger that you can charge your phone while you're on the water. So
dual USB, right?
Dual USB, yeah. So
how awesome is that, right? The first thing I always do when I get on a boat is I say, I walk up to the boat, in my fishing shorts or my board shorts, and I've got my keys, my phone, and my wallet in my hands. And the first question I ask is, where's the orange box? Where do I put these? Where do I put these? How nice and luxurious somebody gets onto a boat. This is their seat that they're going to be on, and they've got their own little glove box so they can store everything and charge their phone while they're on the water.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we're really excited about this, but it doesn't end there. We're gonna move over and show you something else that we're excited about. So let's see if we can do this. We're gonna come over here, and we have this table. Now this table is not the sexiest thing you'll see. It's good, it's super functional. In fact, if you're a JC Pontoon owner, you've seen this table because this is a table that's been built and put on JCs for probably a decade now. But we wanted to amp it up. We wanted to add some spice to it. So we came out with, let's show them what you got right here.
Absolutely right here.
So we came out with a portable serving tray, right? So this tray, what we are kind of envisioning is that people would keep this up at the house, right? So the table would stay on the boat, and the tray would come up to the house when you're done boating, and that lets you wash it off, keeps it from getting nasty.
Right.
Makes it, you don't want it to be something that people don't want to eat off of.
Well, that's kind of the concept, right? I mean, if the table's sitting on the boat, and down here in Florida, very moist atmosphere, potential for it to get mildew on it. This can stay clean, like you said, and that's really one of the owners kind of came up with this concept with that thought that this can be then brought down to the boat, and all your food and everything can be prepped. You can see how easy it is for me to handle it, and again incorporates all the things you need, like the wine cabinet earlier.
Right, and it's serving also as the transportation, right? I mean, what do you do? Like, hey, go grab this, go grab that. Right. I mean, you do all your prep, you put it on the tray, you carry it down, and let's show what you do. Now, this is sized perfectly to drop directly onto the table. Now this table has keeper strips, right? And that we've always had keeper strips on this, and that's nice because it keeps things from rolling off of it. Mm-hmm. But now those keeper strips also retain this whole table. So this table, doesn't move, or the tray does not move at all on the table. It's really locked in place.
Yeah, and actually, one of the things I think is unique as well is you're still able to use your existing drink holders, right? So you can see those existing drink holders that are part of the table drop in, and a nice thing for all the JC pontoons that are out there, or anybody who's ordered this part from boat outfitters over the year. What a great addition, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, again, if you have a JC pontoon, you can buy this tray individually, and we'll look at pricing here later when we get on the computer. You can order this part individually right now, drop it on, and it's going to work on your existing table. So this is an awesome part that we're really excited about. Cool, so let's move on. We got another thing to look at that we're excited about. This, again, is a little more focused for the JC owner. This is, again, a lounge back rest.
Same thing we saw over here.
Same deal.
Yep.
But now we're looking at it from the side profile. And this is our angled storage drawer. And I'm spoiling what's inside a little bit. But JC Pontoon has had a door here for a long time that just opened up to open storage. It was fine. You can throw stuff in there. It's a catch-all area. But
there's a lot of disadvantages to that. I would make it comparable on a center console market to where, on some of the older Makos, you've got that front little anchor locker area that's up underneath like a casting deck, and it's just an open door that you're throwing stuff in. It's problematic from an organization standpoint, but then retrieving stuff from there becomes a pain.
Get on your hands and knees,
something that's this small that extends all the way down underneath that lounge rest. You can't imagine, just the one thing that you need is back there, and you're laying on the ground trying to get your arm back.
So what we've done is, instead of being a door, we now have a drawer unit. And this is a deep one. This is actually a 20-inch deep drawer. We have two different models, a 20-inch and a
13-inch.
Yep. Okay. A 20-inch and a 13-inch. And up at the top, we have more open storage, just a cubby area, and that cubby area has another dual USB charger.
Which is, again, similar to the top portion of that earlier box we looked at. Gives you that option. You can imagine somebody sitting on this lounger, again, with this door closed, right, and their phone charger coming out of this little door seam right here, and they're charging their phone, using their phone throughout the day. Mm-hmm. So I, again, think this is an awesome part. It's an existing part that's out there from a size cutout standpoint. That what a way to upgrade your existing pontoon.
So, and another thing, like we talked about with the table, is there is a cutout in a lot of the JC pontoon boats right now in the side that fits exactly like this. It's an angled door that if you wanted to take your old door out and put this new drawer unit in, it is a one-for-one upgrade. And we've already started to talk to a fair amount of JC dealers who are all really jazzed up about it. So we're going to start getting lists together of recommended installers hopefully in your area. So if you're interested, reach out to us, let us know, and we can either get you instructions on how to just change that out,
right.
or how you can go to a dealer to change it out. Even if you don't have a hole here, or maybe you have another pontoon model, we can help document or walk you through how you cut your the canvas and do all that. It's really less intimidating than you might think.
Yeah, we've got a lot of dealers like Andrew's saying that are pretty jazzed up about this. What an opportunity for them. Somebody's bringing their boat into service at the end of the year, and it's just an opportunity for an immediate aftermarket upgrade to the boat. Likewise, again, for the customer, this is something I'd feel comfortable doing. You're taking out 10 screws, dropping in the new unit, tightening that back up.
Yep, absolutely. So I think we've saved the best product for last. This is my favorite product by far. And this is, again, of course, the back of a lounge back seat. But let's show them what we've got. It is a folding table. So this, you saw a one-hand operation. Jared's a strong guy, but you don't have to be a strong guy.
In disguise.
It. Yeah. It is really a piece of cake to open. Closing is the same deal. Now let's close it real quick.
Yeah.
Pull it, fold in, down. One hand, really, really easy thing to do. Now, you can see in the closed position, it sits nice and flush with your backrest, doesn't take up any significant space. In the back, it is only 4 inches deep when closed or open. So it's a very shallow unit, which is why you're able to incorporate this folding table with with the drawer unit.
Right, so like that wine cabinet sits probably 20 inches deep.
Correct.
You've got this drawer under here that you wouldn't have that. So
you could not do the wine cabinet with the drawer unit.
If you've got this is your option. It's a great build. Like you said, it's only 4 inches, so you can find some unique places on the boat to put this where you're not taking up a ton of room.
So other things I like about it is, there's no there's nothing mechanical going on here, nothing really to fail. It's all king starboard. We designed it so that this slides in and it's indented, so it kind of catches itself and holds itself pretty tight. That's why when you are folding it down, you can kind of show them. You got to jerk it a little bit to get it up and out. You jerk it up and fold it down. But the nice thing about that, you can open it again, is that this thing cannot pop out itself, right? If you hit a wave, you're not going to have it where the table slams down while you're running or anything like that, and you don't get any rattling. This really is very durable. We spent a lot of time. We did a lot of versions of it. We probably had 15 of these things sitting around our office to get the final amount of thickness and rigidity so that we know this thing is strong enough to serve as a table. Now, it's not a seat, it's not a step, but we know that it's strong enough to serve as a table and that we don't have to worry about it failing in the field. So we're really excited about this, and the pontoon builders that have seen it have all been really excited about it, and we're working on different models. This is, again, the JC model. So
that's not it.
That's not it. I know, just when they think we're done. So just like what you saw from a standpoint of the tray on that, on the table, we have a corresponding tray that matches this fold-out table, and this just sits right on top.
And I'll show them down here where it actually locks in place, right? So it's got like a twist on the bottom of that, which again keeps that nice and secure to the boat and the table.
And you've got a lot of the same features here that we've been looking at for some of these other products. You've got the nice stemmed wine glass holder. You've got plate storage here that has a keeper strip so that you can use this for chips and salsa, cheese and crackers.
Your cup holders are still usable here.
Totally.
This is where you guys can see earlier where I was talking about a little bit that when this stemmed wine glass goes in, you press it in. There's a little kind of insert in here that allows that to stay stationary. So that wine glass, you can see me pushing on it. It's not coming out of there, which I think that's an incredible new thing we're doing. We're incorporating this into a lot of other parts as well, just to be able to have that stability on the table.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. And the cool thing about the folding table is it's on-demand functional countertop and serving space, right? I mean, you can of course have a table with a removable pedestal, but then you got to figure out where are you going to put this table, where do you store it, where do you store the pedestal. You're not consuming any deck space with this. When you want it up, you fold it up. When you want it down, you fold it down. Yeah. So we really think that this is a great product that would be an awesome addition to any pontoon, and I know you're going to start seeing these at newer boat shows.
So that's one of the things. We've actually done this for a couple other builders. I think we should switch over here to the site and actually actually walk them through some of the other options, configurations, as well as some of the other builders. So we'll kind of move over to the site here and go through a couple different options that we have.
Sure. So let's see here. Let's first, since we're focused on the JC one, we'll look at this JC page. So, JC pontoon owners, you've got your own page here where we got replacement parts. Then we've got a variety. Here's your angled drawer storage. We've got both the 20-inch deep as well as the 13. You can see that they're in that 300 mid 300 ballpark, about $30 more for the deeper one. You've got this tray that's designed to drop on top of the fold-out table, as well as the tray that sits on top of the pedestal table. All right here and available online.
I think the trash can's pretty cool. Show them the trash can as well.
So just like we have, right, this fits in the back of the lounge backrest, and the wine storage fits in the back of the lounge backrest. This is the exact same footprint. This is a folding trash can, and we would have loved to show that. We just didn't have one sitting around the office here before we started going live. So this will open up. Has this folding trash can, and then in the top it's the same lockable storage, just like we've seen on the other the wine cabinet. If we come back, similarly, this is another unit that has the exact same outside dimensions. It's the same footprint. It's designed to fit in a lounge back table, or excuse me, lounge back chair. And this is just a drawer unit. So if you're focused on just maximizing your storage space, being able to put as much stuff inside of drawers as you can, this is a great product. And you can see it actually has some different dividers.
I think that's pretty cool. One of the things I've talked to with one of the customers that recently called is that they like to go out on the pontoon and go out and have lunch for the day and have all the food prepared. The table's incredible for that, but also storage for silverware. This is somewhere where you've got a dividable storage drawer that you can keep all your forks, knives, everything ready to go. So I really like that aspect of that drawer unit.
Absolutely. So, I know this has been focused primarily on JC, but as we've said, there are other boat builders that we've begun prototyping some stuff for. We'll look at, let's do Crest, for example. So Crest, similarly, we have a fold-out table as well as a drawer unit. In fact, let's see, I think I might have a good picture of the drawer unit installed. Let's see. Yep. So there you can see this is in the context of the back of a lounge back rest. Normally there's this open space here because a lot of times the entry gate is right where that backs up against.
Right.
So it's again great for any of the products that we've looked at today. So
and I think that's something that's really important for us to note. So specifically for the Crest, that space that's there is for a pop-up changing station that they had there traditionally, right?
Correct. That's my understanding. Yeah, the pop-up changing station, which, depending on who you talk to, a lot of times those will go years, if not ever, really being used. It's really not, all the most functional use of that space. So yeah, you can open that up and you could add the wine rack or the drawer unit or the folding table. You can see this folding table, of course, is a lot bigger. This is sized to fit the Crest backrest.
And similar to what we talked about with the JC angle drawers, that one is an exact one-to-one replacement, right? So you're
Correct.
Able to take that old changing station out that in some cases is unusable, be able to drop that in there and add extra functionality to the boat rather quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, now I don't know for sure that is true of Crest. We need to check and see if the changing station. In fact, I do not believe the changing stations that are in the Crest are a one-to-one cutout. I know they're smaller, so you would be able to open it up, but you would have to open it up a little bit, from what I believe. And we'll check that, and we can post down in the comments with clarification on that. But yeah, we have other models in production as well. I mean, here is this. Let's see which one this one is. This is the Manitou Pontoon wine cabinet, and let's see what else.
And we've got another one for the Avalon and Tahoe line as well.
You know which one that one is?
I believe it's the table there at the top left.
This table one?
Yep.
So Avalon and Tahoe folding table. So, we're all in on this. We think it's going to be a great line of product. And like Jared said, our bread and butter for the longest time has been in the mid-size center console space.
Do we have any comments? Let's check the comments here real quick.
Does not look like we have anything there.
Okay.
But our bread and butter has been in the mid-size center console space, which is awesome. We love it. That's what we've done for the longest time. But there's a huge opportunity in making pontoons better, in our opinion. We would love to help people enjoy their time on the water. A ton of people use pontoons, and we're really, really excited about it.
Absolutely. You take that space to where a lot of boats are out in the field, and there's a lot of boats that had similar parts on them over the years. So now we're able to help kind of give the DIYer, or in the case of a lot of these dealers, an opportunity to add a lot of value to the boat, right? A lot of value and a lot of function, and that's really what we're about, right? Making the boat better. Are you ready to get out on the water?
Awesome. I'm ready to get out on the water.
Not in the hurricane,
Not
right?
In the hurricane. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. It's a lot to see. If you have any questions, we will talk about this stuff for days. So let us know in the comments. Let us know if there's anything you need clarification on. But otherwise, thank you very much, and have a great day.